Hey guys, so I recently saw a video of Yolanda Adams explaining how to sing high notes. For those of you who didn't see it, let's hear what she had to say.
High notes are, there's a technique to doing high notes if that is your voice. If you are a soprano, you are born with high notes. If you are an alto, contralto, or tenor, you have to kind of, fake your high notes, unless you're a first tenor, and most first tenors they're just covered. That's a nice way to call you an alto. I'm just saying. First tenors are like, well, why you gotta call me an alto? You can do a head tone, you can do a nasal tone, or you can do a throat tone. Most sopranos are most true sopranos, first sopranos, they're all throat. There are some who sing, for opera purposes, where you come from the head, or the nose. But those high notes are open wide if you're doing it from the throat, but make sure that you're coming from your diaphragm. So breathing, like I said before, breathing is so important. So breathe in, not like no, you're choking yourself. Breathe in from your nose, warm that throat up real quick. There's something like that. That was really horrible, but it's okay, because I'm just trying to teach you how to do it right now. And then if it's
Okay. I feel like there is so much to address in this video. The first thing that needs to be addressed, I think, is her saying, you're born a soprano, so you have high notes, but altos and tenors are faking high notes. I don't really, I know that the perspective that she's speaking from is a gospel perspective, but I feel like most women who sing alto in a choir are usually mezzo-sopranos, and mezzo-sopranos and full sopranos typically have very, very similar ranges. So it's not fair, I think, to a woman who sings alto in a choral setting to say that they would be faking their high notes. I think they have, and by faking, I think she means head voice, by singing in your head voice, that engages your cricothyroid muscles as opposed to your thyroid-rytenoid muscles. Now, your thyroid-rytenoid dominant singing would be your chest singing. It might be harder to sustain if your there's a word for it, it's leaving me. If your tessitura is a bit lower, but that does not mean that you are unable to sing those notes. Something else she said that was concerning was natural sopranos sing from the throat. And again, and then she said, or it could be opera or nasal. So let's break that up. Let's talk about that. Natural sopranos singing from the throat. I don't think any healthy singing should feel like it's coming from the throat. I think all healthy singing, especially bigger, more intense sounds, should feel like they're coming from a lot lower in the body, and there should feel like there's a release. There should be, you're naturally going to feel some pressure by singing loudly, but it should feel like you're opening, like you're like an open cavernous space at the same time. And in fact, the more that you think of yourself as being open and staying open, the better the sound will be. And that goes for sopranos, mezzo-sopranos, contraltos, tenors, and the line goes on. There are head voice tones, and I do understand what she means by singing nasal, but I think a post-nasal resonator, using your nasal resonators when singing is generally a great thing, whether you are singing a thyroretinoid dominant or cricothyroid dominant, which translates to chest voice or head voice. You always want that, because that's how you get spin, and that's how you get great resonance, what we call chiaro-oscuro, the mix of dark and light. Lastly, when she's talking about breathing, it's really important to note that there's more than one way to breathe well. There are some people who are strong proponents of taking in the nasal breath because it does warm the air. She was correct about that. It does warm the air. It does allow a slower breath, and it allows you to feel the air as it comes into your body, which is great. But for those of us that need catch breaths, the oral breath is going to be better because it's a faster way to get the breath into the lungs, and then you can support the air faster. So I am a proponent of the oral breath. I don't get dry throat from singing, you know, from breathing in through my mouth. So that works for me. Yolanda Adams is one of my favorite singers. She taught me how to sing at 14. I had a Best of Yolanda Adams album that I absolutely screamed the house down trying to sing like her. So she is definitely a phenomenal singer. I hope that this video brings some clarity to some of the concepts that she was discussing in her video. Thank you so much. Have a great one.